My guest today has advised 49 of the Fortune 100 companies. She's spoken at the World Economic Forum, TED, and South by Southwest. She is a seven-time author, a Harvard grad, and one of the most creative people in business, according to Fast Company. But here's what I love most about her. She doesn't talk about AI the way most people do. She doesn't tell you to fear it. She doesn't tell you to chase it. She tells you how to lead through it with your humanity completely intact. Her new book is Winning with AI, The 90-Day Blueprint for Success, co-authored with Dr. Katya Walsh, and it's exactly the conversation this audience has been waiting to have. Welcome back to WholeCEO with Lisa G. Charlene Li.
It was the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance in Business, Mindset, Wellness, and Success to help you master disruption. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon. Welcome back to the show. My guest today has advised 49 of the Fortune 100 companies. She's spoken at the World Economic Forum, TED, and South by Southwest. She is a seven-time author, a Harvard grad, and one of the most creative people in business, according to Fast Company. But here's what I love most about her. She doesn't talk about AI the way most people do. She doesn't tell you to fear it. She doesn't tell you to chase it. She tells you how to lead through it with your humanity completely intact. Her new book is Winning with AI, The 90-Day Blueprint for Success, co-authored with Dr. Katya Walsh, and it's exactly the conversation this audience has been waiting to have. Welcome back to WholeCEO with Lisa G. Charlene Li.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be back.
I'm happy to have you. It's not everyone who gets to come back a second time. So, jumping in with the human truth, you have interviewed more than 50 executives who have actually won with AI, not just experimented with it. What surprised you most about what they had in common? Because I'm guessing it was not the technology.
No, it was not the technology. In fact, the technology is a bit of a commodity because anyone can get access to it. It's what you do with it. And what was outstanding about these cases is that they each had a leader who was driving the change. And it wasn't just adopting AI, it was adapting their organization with AI too as well. So they were thinking about not just how to use AI, but how to change their organization and the kind of transformation that was going to be needed. And they realized it was hard. So they prepared themselves first, then prepared the other leaders, and they prepared the entire organization for that journey ahead.
Well, so much to unpack there because a lot of times where I'm seeing the disconnect is not preparing the entire team and the entire organization. So do you want to dive deeper into how maybe some leaders watching this can not just deploy the technology, but speak to the humans involved?
Right. Well, especially in the US right now, there's a lot of fear when it comes to AI. So, personal fear that it's going to replace me. We have career and professional fear that if I do something wrong with AI, that's going to wreck my career. So, if I make the wrong decision or if I choose a model and a better one comes out next week, then I'm going to be toast. So there's a lot of fear and anxiety when it comes to AI because it is so uncertain right now. Things are constantly changing and we just don't know where we stand, which is why we feel disrupted. And I think that the hard thing right now is to provide some certainty, which is why we really think about AI as not a technology problem. It really is this leadership problem. And
Right.
so we need leaders to show us the way. And especially, I believe CEOs need to take part of it. It's not about deploying a technology. It's not getting AI like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or even Anthropic's Claude. It's not about getting into the hands of the people. Because if they have it, what do they do with it? How do I stay safe with it? What can I do? What can't I do? Give me some direction. And the CIO is just going to deploy it, but we really need our leaders and especially the C-suite and CEO to say, okay, so what now? What are we going to do with AI? How are we going to use it in the best way possible to be strategic?
That's such a great definition of the kind of leadership where that we need right now. And you also write about the human capabilities that matter more, not less, when AI takes on more of the cognitive heavy lifting. I want to sit in that for a minute because a lot of leaders in my audience are quietly terrified that AI is coming for them. So what do you say to that CEO who is just wondering where they still matter?
Right. Well, I'll give a quick example. When AI first came out in early 22, late 22, 23, I set a bunch of questions that had been asked in a podcast. So I had my actual answers and I had the answers from AI for the same questions. And I sent them to people and I asked people to rate them, like on a scale of 1 to 5, how good are these? And AI came in about 80% as good as me. It,
Wow.
that was astounding to me that AI could do 80% as good a job as me. And again, this was early on. This is ChatGPT 3.5. And I'm sitting there going, I'm chop liver. You know,
Wow.
everyone could just go to AI, right? And just get the pretty good, decent enough answers. And then I looked at the 20%. What was that extra little bit that made my answers better than AI's? And it was when I instilled a sense of humanity, of empathy, of intuition, judgment, a little bit of wisdom. And it was that extra little factor that made my responses better. So I've dedicated the past couple of years to thinking, okay, what is that X factor? What is this thing where instead of thinking only about AI augmented humans and it replacing us, what is it that AI can't do? How is human going to augment AI? When are we going to absolutely need that human? And I believe we're going to have what we call superhumans evolve. These are people who are incredibly fluent with AI. They know how to use it, they feel comfortable using it, and they don't use it just to do more work. They're using that capacity and that capability to become more human, to double down on 5 characteristics that are unique to humans: empathy, self reflection, intuition, judgment, wisdom. Now, that's just a short list.
Wow.
It's these things that are unique to us. And I think an organization that dedicates, again, this is why it's a leadership issue, dedicates those extra cycles, those extra capabilities that we have to enhancing our humanness are the ones that are going to win because you're then truly differentiating yourself, where you have an organization filled with superhumans who are accentuating and using the best of AI, but also doing the best they can be to be the best humans they can be.
I love this topic. I've been talking about it on my live videos this week, and I'm so passionate about it. And who wouldn't want to be superhuman? I mean, the human plus AI is what we all need right now. And I know a lot of AI slop is out there where people are just going in there with no prompting skills and they're just copy pasting stuff out of AI. But with somebody with a Harvard education like yourself, it's not about the first answer from AI, is it? Isn't it more like a relationship and a conversation to get the best output?
Yeah, well, I encourage people when they start using AI at the end of the prompt, there was some good prompting skills about giving the AI a context and a role and an outcome. So just being very clear about that. But at the end of your prompt, add this one sentence. Before you start, ask me any clarifying questions. And it changes your relationship with the AI from being just an answer machine, an answer generator, to being a conversation. And it's an opportunity for AI to understand you better and for you to understand what other additional information the AI may need to give you the best outcomes. And I like to say AI will come up with great concepts, with great results, outcomes. It'll be very creative, but it will only be as creative as the creativity of the question you ask it. It can only create great content with a unique point of view if you insert that unique point of view. That can only come from you. And so there was this problem always. People say, well, what do I write about on social media that hasn't been said before? I go, sorry, but it's all been said before. But you have never said this. It hasn't come from you. It has not been informed by your unique lived experience. AI is not alive, at least not yet. And it doesn't have that lived experience. It has not experienced pain. It has not experienced joy. And you have. And that's what you bring. And that's how you elevate the content from being slop that anyone else can create to
Yeah.
being something that's unique and inserts you and your humanness into it.
I love that focus on the relationship with AI, because a lot of times as a content creator, you get to that point where you're like, what hasn't been created yet? And it's really the relationship with AI that you can keep asking it questions and having it help you as like a little research assistant, certainly not a replacement. So I hope you guys listening to this are realizing that AI is not coming for your job. It's only coming for your job if you're not using it. Do you agree?
It's coming for your job if you are not thinking about how you can do your job differently, better, faster, cheaper, more efficiently, and safer.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking actively about how to redesign the way you work, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And if you only think about things in a static way, in other words, AI will be diminishing if the only thing you think about is that the business is going to say exactly what it is today, that you're optimizing the status quo for
Right.
today. And today becomes the past and yesterday very, very quickly. It just takes a day. And so if you're focusing on where you need to go and you ask your organization for the tools, the training, and then especially the time to experiment and learn, you will stay at least even with or catching up. You'll be in a place of momentum and movement forward rather than trying to stay in the past and preserve the past, which is impossible to do. So again, this is where I think a big challenge is that if an organization is not moving forward, they're not giving people the tools, they're not giving the training, and the very important thing, protecting time for people to experiment, to learn. Those people are going, oh, my company is not going to win. My company is falling behind. I'm falling behind. And if I want to maximize my employability, I'm going to walk out the door. I'm going to exercise the power of my 2 feet and look for an organization that will equip me for this future. So I think the delays that we're seeing from organizations really, truly embracing AI are the ones who are not going to just fall behind, but they are at risk of losing their best talent, of not understanding where the customers are moving. And there's this pressure now that's building for leaders to say, I got to move, but which direction do I move in? It's just, I have a lot of empathy for them because it is really hard and it's really uncertain right now. But I think the first thing you can do is to get AI fluent and just start taking the steps to making some of these crucial decisions.
I love how you lead with empathy, when that's one of the values you hold so dear in leadership. And for someone listening to this right now, they've been in pilot mode for 2 years, nothing is stuck, their board is asking questions. What is the one thing they need to do differently starting this week, not this quarter, but right now?
Kill all your pilots. Just stop doing them.
Okay.
And pick the ones. So it is not to stop using AI, but stop doing pilots because pilots mean that you have not committed. You're still not sure what's going to work. So you're trying at different things. And frankly, it's just procrastination from you having to make strategic choices. So the one thing to do is to stop doing pilots and instead do strategic AI projects, meaning you're looking to your strategy, your top objectives, and you're saying, how can AI help me achieve those objectives better, faster, cheaper, and even safer? And that becomes your roadmap because you want to be creating value with AI. And we're not talking about little bits of value, like a little bit of ROI here and there. We're talking about enterprise value, things that are going to really matter, because that is what it's going to take for you to get serious about AI. It has to be really important to you. One organization showed me their strategic plan, and they had the first six were your usual suspects. These were their six top objectives: drive revenue, drive customer satisfaction. And the seventh one was use AI to accomplish the first six. And I think that's the right way to think about it. We're not asking you to become AI experts, but you are an expert in your business and your strategy. So know that. Begin every conversation with these are our strategic objectives. How will we use AI to help us achieve it? When you talk to a vendor, make sure they understand your strategic objectives. And unless they can frame it, what they do in the context of how we can support your objectives, tell them to go away and come back when they have a better answer, when they can speak your language instead of you having to speak theirs.
I love that. Focus on just throw away the pilot and use AI to accomplish your objectives. That's such a straightforward approach. And last question, I know you're busy and it's a short podcast. Bottom line, how can we go from AI anxiety to AI agency?
Well, I think the number one thing to do is to create that agency for yourself. I think about AI fluency as a must have for yourself, for your leadership, for your entire organization. And what I define AI fluency as is the ability to feel like you can use AI. You're confident. You don't know all the answers, but you know how to use AI to tell you how to use AI. And that's sort of the meta approach to it. And so if I don't know how to do something, I just like, AI, how do I do it? And I equate it to learning how to eat with chopsticks. The first time you get handed a set of chopsticks, you go, how on earth am I going to pick up food with two sticks? And it's awkward in the beginning, and you practice it, and eventually you're just picking up everything and stuffing your mouth without even thinking about it. And that's where you want AI to be. You want it to be just something that you feel comfortable. You know how to use it. You know what it can do and what it can't do. You know how to use it responsibly and ethically. And very importantly, you know how to use it to accomplish your work, to do the job that you have. And you're sitting side by side with it. And it's like another tool, colleague, coworker, whatever you think about it, something you tend to grow reliant on. And you could not imagine doing your job without it. Now imagine an entire organization filled with AI fluent people. What could you do with that?
Oh my gosh.
And go ahead, if you think about it, right? What could you do with that? And so my question back to leaders is, why aren't you building that? Because think about what it would take to get people fluent. I believe you can become fluent with AI easily within 3 months, but it requires that you use it. It requires that you set aside time. So this is one way to do it. Before your next meeting, figure out how you can use AI to prepare for that meeting. And go into the meeting and say, this is how I use AI to prepare for this meeting. How did you all use AI to prepare for this meeting? And you're doing two things. You're setting the expectation that they will use AI to do the work, to prepare for a meeting that you will be at. And the second thing, you're taking away the stigma. Using AI is no longer cheating or cutting corners. It is expected, and you can show each other how it's elevating your work and elevating the team and the organization. Little steps like that make a huge difference in building a culture where AI fluency is not just an aspiration, but a reality.
Well, I love this whole conversation, Charlene, and I know that I have to respect your time and end the conversation here. So, where can people find you if they need more help?
Yeah, well, you can find me at charleneli.com, just my name. And again, there are more resources around the book, but also I'm going to be offering some workshops and masterminds. So again, more hands-on help is coming very soon. So look forward to hearing from people. I really encourage people to reach out to me through my website or through LinkedIn. All of my content is published on LinkedIn, so that's a great place to follow me there too.
Well, I know that's where we met. So, thanks for being a great guest on Whole CEO with Lisa G, charleneli.com.